Then what is the other terminology is called as a flipped learning system. Is the seamless flipped learning. Flipped learning, then seamless flipped learning. Then the importance of flipped learning, seamless flipped learning, and the statistics and the advantages and outstanding benefits over the seamless flipped learning. These are all the overview about today's lecture. Now, we would like to see what all about teaching learning. The first methodology, at the very beginning, we have followed the traditional teaching learning process, the traditional educational system. In the traditional method of teaching, we have followed the methodology adopted is called behaviorism. Behaviorism is one of the traditional method of teaching. That is also called as a historical way of teaching. That is also, it is called as a Socratic approach. Socratic approach means that is a lecturing. What in the present days we are doing is called a Socratic approach, lecture method. This is the most popular method, and it is worldwide applied method for teaching from the basic level, that is a school level to college. That is called as a behaviorism. That methodology adopted is called as a Socratic approach, that is a lecture method. So the lecture method is popularly so far applied. Then apart from that, the other methodology is also followed at right now. That is called, that we are going to discuss in the later stage. So first I would like to share some of views about the significance of the lecture method, whether it is an efficient method or not. That we want to discuss first. So lecture method is okay. So far we are following the lecture method only all over the world, but it has its limitations. But in the teaching process, content delivery is important, and also knowledge is also imparting knowledge is also very, very important. In this aspect, the content, to deliver the content of the syllabus of a course, it is very popular for this kind of teaching. That is what is called the Socratic approach, lecture method. So it is that is why nowadays we are following about that methodology. What is called a Socratic approach. It is an efficient methodology only for deliver the content than that of the effectiveness. Efficient and effectiveness, these are very important for delivering a lecture or taught a subject or a course. In this aspect, to deliver the content, we can follow the lecture method. But in order to attain efficiency, other than efficiency, that is called as an efficient. In order to impart efficient, we have to go for the other method, constructivism. Okay, constructivism is another methodology which is worldwide followed at right now. Because of I hope all of you might know about that taxonomy, Bloom's taxonomy. In that the first remembering and understanding, in those two parts are much covered under the lecture method. The remaining part, other applying, analyzing, evaluating, create, these parts are all also very, very important aspect for impart education among all levels in order to be able to know the entire content of the course. For that aspect, this lecture method, Socratic method, has its own limitation. It is not to say that the Socratic method is not good, but it has its advantages as well as the limitations also. It is the major drawback behind applying that lecture method. The Socratic method is the face-to-face contact of the students is limited among the faculty as well as the students is some extent limited. And also the other important thing, how best the students are able to apply those concepts learned. Actually, these methodologies are introduced for the specific purpose. For only that industrialization as begins. That time they focused for developing some sorts of education for a specific aspect, for fulfilling that concept. That method of teaching methodology as adopted, but it is not fully equipped a person undergone for any kind of study. So keeping this in view and based on the other part of the Bloom taxonomy and all, we are going to develop a constructivism method, in constructivism in education. That is why the purpose of the education is to impart the full knowledge, fully equipped by the person to for a particular task. That is what Swami Vivekananda is also rightly pointed out. The education to be man-making. The purpose of education to be a man-making. It is the entire personality of the person. Those who have undergone for a particular kind of study should be fulfilled. That means entire personality of the person to be improved at a greater level. That kind of educations we want. For that purpose, that Socratic method is not much beneficial. Only it is focusing at a particular part, specific area, and also only they can able to know what about the basic concepts, and they are able to remember and understand. That is the level of understanding level. Only they are focusing, not much on the other critical part, other part. That is most important. So in order to fulfill that we are shifting to the other methodology called the constructivism in education. This is also very popular nowadays because of the outstanding performance of the student, to impart outstanding performance among the students. It involves that the student involvement, self-directed learning, and problem-based learning. These are the four importance part to be constructed to be considered under this kind of education. So this is also called by instead of what we are going to say is by doing, not by telling. Constructivism civil theory and knowledge based on one's own experience. They have to learn things. That means by means of doing an exercise, doing a kind of work. That is, for example, if you want for swimming and all, what we have to, whatever things you teach, they cannot able to follow very exactly. Unless you enter into water, you cannot able to learn about swimming. Similarly, for other purposes, cycling, driving, all kinds of activities, only it's possible to learn much only by means of doing than that of learning or the concepts and all. Keeping this point in view, this constructivism is employed greatly right now. In this moment, I would like to show about the other taxonomy ability, analyze, evaluate, and create. These parts are fully covered under this kind of education. These are all the parts. Remembering, understanding. These two parts only covered under the first kind of teaching methodology, what we discussed. That is called a Socratic approach. The remaining part, mainly, we are going to discuss by this method, constructivism. Then we will discuss about the role of technology, how the educational system is going to be, teaching learning system is to be changed by means of technology. Then technology enhanced learning, that is also called as a paradigm shift in technology enhanced learning. The concept of education, what we discussed in the further Socratic approach, is called that is a traditional education system. There is a teacher-centered instruction, that is called in the constructive. In that method, we are following. Teacher plays a very important role, key role. Then the students are just observer. Sorry. teacher-centered instruction. That is called as a first of a Socratic approach. Then the learner-centered learning model is another popular methodology which are following at right now. In this system, the flipped learning system is mainly focusing on the second aspect, that is learner-centered learning model. The concept of flipped learning system was proposed by Bergman and Sands in 2012. It is not a new concept. The concept was already employed in our previous Vedic education system, the Vedic period also. During that period, what that we called as a Guru Shishya system. In that also, they very well followed the same methodology. That is means what is called as the activity-oriented education. That is, Guru is the Guru and disciple. He know all what are the things we want to deliver to the disciples by means of doing some sorts of activities, some kind of action. The same philosophy is followed at right now by the influence of technology. That is what we call as a flipped learning system. So the technology plays a very key role over here. Unless technological involvement in introduction, we can't shift the teacher-centered instruction method to learner-centered learning modes. So that is the motto behind this. So what is all about a flipped learning and a flipped classroom? Before going to discuss about a flipped learning, we would like to say flipped classroom. What is these two terminologies are not interchangeable. Okay. First, what is flipped classroom? Then we will discuss about what all about flipped learning. In this system, as I told now, that technology is the key role over here. Without by means of the multimedia technologies and other internet technologies, computer and communications plays a very significant role over here for implementing this flipped classroom and flipped learning system. In this kind of education, what the students used to do is first the students has to come with some basic preparation by the before going to attend the class. He has to given some sorts of work to the student. The teachers, suppose any kind of particular teacher handling a subject has to be given in the form of video or some sorts of multimedia based handouts, so that the students go to home and they have to prepare about the learning and remembering aspect are going to do in their home itself. After that, he has to prepare. He has to be able to understand the basic concept what they are going to do from the videos developed by the particular course instructor. Based on that, he has to prepare. After that, he has to come with the basic knowledge about the subject what the teacher is going to taught today. With that, so in the classroom, what the teacher is going to, teacher's role is going to discuss the advanced concepts, advanced aspect, how the concept learned by the student is going to apply in the particular area. That by means of discussing with one over the other or with the other application side, and what are the other problems, how refine the part studied in this home, how practically it will be implemented for different situation, and all that analysis, synthesis and analysis, evaluate and create. All those aspects are going to be done over the classroom. After the class, that the students has go to apply in the real life field. This is what we are going to do in the flipped classroom. This is the basic idea of flipped learning. So this is it is an effective learning methodology to engage students in more practice and interaction in the class. It is not in the traditional teaching methodology, they used to say that sage on the stage, that the teacher is called as a sage on the stage, but it is in this system, it is not. That the students will listen, observe that. They will not talk anything much about the role in their classroom, apart from absorbing. That is why it is called as a stage. But in this case, there is an interaction, no monologue, it is a dialogue, and any sorts of only discussion is going to be take place a key role over the classroom than that of delivering the content. Since the students are very well learned about that basic concepts and other important aspects in the home itself. So that is called that. Also, I would like to say in this junction about that what is flipped learning, and is it a new concept or not? It is already so told that it is not a new concept. Already it was implemented. Only the technology is playing over a key role over implementing this concept. However, flipped learning is a new design. It established many theories. Doing the secret of telling won't work. That is the secret. If doing is the secret of learning, then telling does not work. That is the key concept behind going for the flipped learning. So this slide is also says about what is called flipped learning. This is just turn back. Flipped learning is all about how to best use your class time with the student. That is the time management. That is the major role placed over here about the flipped learning system. Since the time availability of the time to deliver the content is limited. That is what 45 minutes or maximum 1 hour class in colleges and all. So in this regard, you have to, if you concentrate fully on delivering the content alone, the high level thinking and other analysis side are not able to talk to the student. That is, difficulties arises. So keeping this in view, that since all the resources are available, the olden days students what they did means only the things by the book. But here it is not like that. So all the basic contents are already given to them. With that, they are coming with a number of questions that are discussed under the group discussion, or the questions raised by the students are discussed with the one or the other, and also the teacher is clarifying all the doubts raised by the student. Okay. This is also, this slides is also explained what is the before and after the class. What is the role? The students read over materials at home before class. Next, students complete interaction at the class. This is the after. Before the flip, students are forced to go through the book. Nowadays, no need of going for book. So all the videos and other materials relevant to the topic what the teacher is going to taught is already given in the form, electronic form. In the electronic form, that has to be referred by the student in home. After that, he has to learn the basic concepts. After that, he has to come over the school. Okay. Next one is, this is the Bloom's taxonomy in a holistic classroom. How this taxonomy is applied in a flipped classroom. The traditional method. Hello? Is it clear? The first two things I already told. What is the thing? Remembering and understanding part is then in the class. The traditional system, this is out of class. But in the flipped learning shown in the right side shows that outside the class. But first two things are done in outside, that is in home. Okay. The remaining part, the much time is spent for the higher level of the taxonomies. So it is divided into the revised edition of the Bloom's taxonomy is like this. That is like that. Before the class, remembering, understanding by means of the content given by the course instructor. After that, based on that, the students comes with the knowledge, preliminary knowledge. After that, that is going to apply during the class. Applying and analyzing part are much concentrated in this part during the class. After the class, again with the discussion, brainstorming session and the group discussion, the teacher is divided into different groups so that they can easy to share their knowledge, what they understand in that book or in the home, that are discussed over the class. After that, any concept, any new thing is not, anything is not clear, that are also clarified by the teacher. The teacher plays a very significant role over there, since he has to, his preparation and other important point we have discussed are very important over here. That is why this part is done very very well over here. Okay. Next, difference between these two, flipped learning and traditional learning. In the flipped system, what we are going to do, teacher instructs lessons at home. Teacher instructs lessons at home. That means of video, books and website and all. The traditional, only teacher is the role, is instructing. Students takes notes. Classwork. Teacher is taking the lesson, start from the fundamental, everything is taught by the teacher. After that, students has to observe, just observing. That is remembering basic things. Then students work in class is only deeper understanding of the concept, applications and connections to content are made. Then students receive support as needed. Suppose if anything is not clear, that time they are discussed with the peers, as well as the teacher is also imparting knowledge to solve the problems and all. This is a difference between these two learning system. Next. So now we would like to say what is called the flipped learning, flipped classroom. So they already told that flipped classroom and flipped learning are the two different terminologies. It is not interchangeable. It cannot be interchanged. So flipped, that we will discuss in the subsequent slides elaborately. At this moment, I would like to say what is called a flipped classroom. Traditional classroom. Now, I hope all of you may know about what is the difference between the traditional classroom and flipped classroom. From the previous slides, what we have displayed, you may have some idea about the flipped classroom. So, in the flipped classroom, students are coming with already available materials. They are coming with some basic knowledge. That is the what called, that is that kind of learning structure, learning methodology is called a flipped learning. Not flipped learning. Attending classes with that kind of background is called a flipped classroom. It is a blended learning in which students learn content online by watching video lecture, usually at home, and homework is done in class, which with the teachers and the students discussing and solving the questions. That is a schoolwork at home, homework at the school. They used to say this is called flipped learning, but it is not exactly. This is not many of the flipped learning network is not accepted this definitions. Why? That we will discuss in the later scene. But it is not only schoolwork at home, homework at the school. That is, it doesn't mean only it is partly described, but it's not fully. Since not the entire homework is schoolwork or homework is done in the home, either home or the school or college. So that is, it is a preparatory. It is a place where you have the facilities to learn certain part of the thing before attending the class. If you have some facilities, that kind of classrooms are called as a flipped classroom. The teacher interaction with the student is more personalized and with the guidance instead of lecturing. The teacher's role over here is not simply lecturing. Then instead of lecturing, they are guiding the student. Lecturing, that is individual care, personalized care plays a very important role at the flipped classroom. This is called a flipped learning network. This was developed by Sam. Already told John Berkman and Sands initiated they derived the concept called a flipped learning, and they formed a flipped learning network. They have latest updations and what are the implementation strategies to be followed for making a classroom flip. All those things, updations are recent updations, everything are available in the website, the official authorities of flipped learning, called the flipped learning network. So flipped learning, the definition, already we discussed about what is called a flipped classroom. Now we would like to say flipped learning official definition derived by the flipped learning network team. Okay. Flipped learning is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction moves from the group learning space to individual learning space, and the resulting group space is transformed into a dynamic interactive learning environment where the educator guides students as they apply concepts and engage creatively in the subject matter. This is called as a flipped learning. This is called flipped learning definition. It is not only schoolwork at home, homework at the school. Apart from that, it involves various instructions, directly instructions moving from the group of learned people. That is a pre-planned, pre-issued material by the teachers. After that, there is a discussion with the peer people, and after that, going to apply. For implementing this kind of methodology, they have to follow 4 important things. That is called 4 pillars of the flipped learning. So without the implementation of the 4 pillars, without the role of the 4 pillars, this learning system is not possible. That is why this is the flipped classroom and flipped learning are not the same. It is called as a different one. And to implement a flipped learning system in any educational institution, we have to follow the 4 pillars that we will discuss. The 4 pillars of the flip. What is the first letter in the flip? F stands for flexible environment. Then learning culture. L stands for learning culture. Then intentional content. Then professional educators. Professional educators. These 4 are called as a pillars of flipped learning. Without the implementation of these 4, it's not possible to implement flipped learning system in any course. So what is called a flexible environment? So flexible environment, as already we discussed in these previous slides and all, the environment is flexible. The flipped learning allows for a variety of learning modes. That is the previously available material lesson are available to the student, given to the students, can be used for referring material to the students. That is one of the part. Then how they are going to do is the role of the educators. The teachers is very, very important. He has to identify what are the important things, most important thing to be given to the student, based on the ability of the students. The faculty should know about the students' ability, how extent they can able to follow. Based on that, the content has to be prepared. What are the part in a unit, in any kind of course? What are the part to be discussed in the in outside class and in class? That should be very familiar. Accordingly, that he has to segregate the content. The content which is needed to before taught in class. Accordingly, he has to segregate the material that to be recorded, that should be supplied to the student. That is one of the role that work to be done by the teacher. Then they create flexible space in which students choose when and where they learn. That is also teacher's role. Again, the teachers who flip their classes are flexible in their expectations of the students' time limit for learning and in their assessment of students' learning. These are all the first part, flexible environment to implement the flipped learning. Second one, the learning culture. So all this is also we partly discussed a teacher-centered model in tradition. The teacher is the primary source of information. Here, the primary source of information is not only teacher, but the information available in the other technological side. Flipped learning model deliberately shifts instruction to the learner-centered approach. That is, first, initially only in the out of class, the students are going through the material provided by the teacher or from the other electronic source. After that, the students is discussing with the center. That is called a learner-centered approach. In class time, they are approaching with the others, teachers as well as the other mates, classmates, dedicated to explore topics in greater depth and creating rich learning opportunities. This also to be done in the learning culture. And as a result, students are actively involved in the knowledge construction as they participate in and evaluate the learning in a manner that is personally meaningful. Unless you are going to create an environment for learner-centered approach, it will not be give the expected results. Then the intentional content. Flipped learning educators continually think about how can change the flipped learning model to help students develop conceptual understanding. That is the main role of the teachers. Students develop conceptual understanding as well as their procedural fluency. They determine what they need to teach and what material students should explore on their own. That aspect also should be very clear. Then educators use intentional content to maximize classroom time in order to adopt methods of student-centered active learning strategies depending on the grade and level of the subject matter. So that is also based on the level, standard, and the student capability, the subject in which they are going to take. In all the parts are to be considered for the content. Then the fourth one is called the professional educator. The role of professional educator is even more important and are often more demanding in a flipped classroom than a traditional one. So the educational role, already I told, is here lecture means in the traditional education system, traditional approach, only the major part of the teacher or educator is only for lecturing. Remaining part is not concentrating, though it is important, but it is not much concentrated. But here, very, very challenging job for the teachers. They have to, all sorts of help has to be rendered by the teachers in class. All sorts of deliberations going to take place in the class, discussion and further advancements what we need to explore their knowledge at a greater level. Those guidance, suggestions, everything has to be given from the teacher's side only. That is why it is called as a more demanding. During the class time, they continually observe their students, providing them with the feedback relevant in the moment and assessing their work. Professional educators are reflective in their practice, content with each other to improve the instruction, accept constructive criticism, and tolerate controlled force in their classroom. Professional educators take a less visibly prominent roles. So less visibly prominent role, but the role, even though it is a less prominent, his role is more important. That is, he has to clarify all sorts of doubts occurred in the classroom during the flipped classroom. That is why it is called. It is very demanding, and the same thing, it is less visibility, since most of the things are content are discussed within the groups. Next. So this is these are all the 4 pillars which are very important to implement the flipped learning, to create a flipped learning environment in a educational institute. So Flip, what all about Flip? In a flipped learning environment, students view content through videos prior to the exercise to refine the activities prepared by the teacher or in class time. That already we discussed. Flipped learning environment view a video as often as they need to do so in order to understand the content. It's a multiple times. If the student is not able to understand the concept is clear, he has time. He has to review once again. So multiple time he has to able to view. That facility is a flexibility is there available. But in the if the same concept, if you taught in the school, the time is limited. If they are not able to understand, means they have to take their own arrangements. But here it is repeated time. If he has to follow, then he can easily able to understand the concept well. So then, in flipped learning environment, other content-oriented activities, reading, research, and exercise can be assigned for out of class time. This is also done. Reading, research, and exercise also can be assigned out of class time. This is another benefit over flipped learning system. Then the environment, teacher-student relationship are improved since face-to-face contact, and also they are closely interacted with each and every student, so that the relationship between the student and staff is very fine. And learning environment, students can use out of class time to review previously studied content. That is also possible since all resources are available to them. So the next one is the advantages of flipped learning system. So already we discussed what are the benefits in the traditional the technology based educational system. Same thing is applicable here. It is advantages of the flipped learning system. Promotes peer interaction and collaboration skill, that we already, how it is going to improve, that we discussed. Then encourage higher student engagement and makes learning center rather than teaching. It is a learning central group discussion, group learning. That concept is applied here. Then first, independent learning need not depend on for basics and other fundamentals. They can go through of their own. Then provides increased individualized attention. That is already in the previous slides also we discussed the how it is helpful, the teachers and student role and the group formed in the class. Everything is going to happen and to explore their knowledge. Instead, though it has its own merits, it has some limitations also that will be discussed in the subsequent slide. This is technological issue, that is one of the major drawback of using this system. Then resistance to change. Some of them are not favor to change their methodology, teaching methodology. That is why it is not having much significance. Then lack of self-discipline. This is very important. If the material is given to the student, they have to go through the material. They have to spend time in home. Otherwise, it will not be helped. If you come without knowing the fundamentals, if you go for the higher level of thinking or the other higher part of the study, they cannot able to know without knowing the fundamental, they cannot move further. That is why the self-discipline is very important. Then teachers may have extra work. That is also very important. So preparation, content preparation. After that, have to activity-based learning and all takes a lot of teachers' time is important to fulfill the task. Then students may forced to spend time in front of the screen. That is also another important part to be considered. This is also the importance of the flipped learning system. What is flipped? How it is going to be used? The block diagram clearly says, and before and after the flipped classroom, what are the improvements of that and all. This will be discussed in later part also. So the next thing is the sample flipped classroom agenda. So the flipped classroom, the design and development of a flipped classroom is not static. It is a dynamic. So keeping the whole point discussed, you have to develop or design a classroom of your own. You flip the classroom to be flipped. Flipped classroom to be made of your own. So what are the part, the class hours, the timing of the hours, class hours to be divided accordingly. So what we have to do first, it may be course to course, it may be vary according to the content or the chapter to chapter, but the unit to unit, what part we have to discuss in class, what part has to be discussed out of class. Those things are decided by the course coordinator, course director, but the particular subject expert has to decide, and after that he has to design the in-class discussion. What are the times, permissible time to discuss various aspects of the part of the unit or the subject, that and all design. For 25 minutes, it is one kind of classroom design. It's not a static. It is a dynamic. It may differ from class to unit to unit or subject to subject. Then post results on the classroom screen 5 minutes. Then discuss results and price distribution and all. So like that, you have to divide the last 5 minutes for the homework and all. So discussing first, you have to ask question what previously the student has gone through the things that we have to discuss. For discussing the previous day work, for that the student have give some time within the class. After that, they have to conduct a quiz also. For that, you have to allot time. Then discussing one over the other, what they understand, how they are going to apply in the concept in the real field. For that, you have to give some time. Like that, you have to design. It is depends on the individuals how to design and develop based on the requirements. So now, what we know about the flipped classroom. Flipped learning is not the same as the flipped classroom. Already we discussed it. Since for a classroom to be flipped learning environment, the 4 pillars must be employed. Videos allow self-space, quiz, or require students to come to class with the questions. That is why based on the video, the students will come with preparation. The questions raised by the students should be discussed in class. That is the major role over here. That is done in the flipped learning. Flipped learning increases face-to-face. Already we discussed in the face-to-face contact, encouraging the classroom to become laboratories. That is the more important point over there. Only it is not a discuss the lecturing, only discussing, and also it becomes as a laboratories. All the work, hands-on experience, or by practical based activity-based learning. So then students have access multiple teachers' expertise. Since they have a lot of time inside to discuss inside the class, that way all sorts of abilities of the teachers are utilized by the student at this kind of culture. Then classroom time is used more effectively and creatively. Classroom time is effectively applied since mainly they are discussing so that exploring large number of ideas that are going to be used in reality. Teachers learn from one another and have more freedom. Then parents have window in the classroom. They are also having observation. It is the education system is under observation of the parent also. So they know well what is going to happen in the class and all. Since it is a both the way the students are communicated. Learning theory supports the approach. Already with the theory, learning theory, constructivism theory is followed over here. That theory is also says about the importance of the approach. The students' achievement is also increased. The statistical studies also made after before implementation of the flipped classroom, after implementation of the classroom. So many studies has done. Such also published articles also available that evident that students' achievements are increased rapidly. Then strengthens team-based skill. This is also evident from the research. Offer personalized student guidance. That also will be discussed. Flipped learning is about how to best use in-class time with the students. This another example how to make a flipped classroom session. Piece for the time is split into different kind of activities. Accordingly, you have to engage the class. Online lecture. Piece about online lecture or activities. 5 to 10 minutes. That online lecture already the lecture given. The student has observed at home. So from that you have to ask questions. For that you have to spend 5 times. At this moment you know what extent the student has observed. If anything is not clear, not observed well, or not learned, any concepts are not clear, that are all based on the assessment phase and all we can identify. Then that clarification doubts are to be clarified at the moment in the class by means of discussion having with the teachers or other peers. They can rectify that facilities, that freedom facilities are available. This flipped classroom, flipped learning, which is not available in the traditional learning, teacher-centered lecturing method. Then similarly, the questions, inline class, online class, for that you have to 10 minutes. Break up into groups for team-based work, 5 minutes. Any sorts of work. If your part of the study has any group works, means activity, for that you have to give some time. Then assign team a task. Teams a task such as determining the best model for marketing research study and give several models, etc. For that you have to give time, 10 minutes. So these are all called as a flipped learning. The another concept what we are going to talk is seamless flipped learning. This is also same like flipped learning. What is the first flipped classroom, then flipped learning, then seamless flipped learning. This is almost the same. Flipped learning and seamless flipped learning are almost same. The only difference is student make use of internet, that is the communication facilities, internet facilities in order to access material. That is what called as a seamless flipped learning. It is continuous learning process. When in the previous case, flipped learning, that is somewhat limited. What are the materials provided by the staff in the form of electronic form? That is a video-based form, video, audio, like that. Student may access or may not access the internet for getting supplementary material in the flipped learning. In the seamless flipped learning, it has opportunity to have a student to access other facilities, field trip, what are the things learned from the field trip also, field trip and all other in learning environment apart from that school or colleges that are also inbuilt, such as mobile and wireless communication plays a very significant role to implement the seamless flipped learning. Apart from the video, audio, and other forms of materials provided in the electronic form provided by the consent faculty. So this is called a seamless flipped learning. Flipped versus seamless flip. In the flipped classes, have students learn what they would typically learn at school, at home, and will be more independent on the students' part. They receive the lessons and work on their own time. In the flipped classroom, uses technology in the flipped chapter approach. They are able to communicate with others through internet, use multiple devices while learning at home or outside a traditional school setting. This is one of the difference. Mainly, they are using the available resources by all means. Apart from the materials, the supplementary, it is possible to access the supplementary material from internet or other devices. Nowadays, most of them are using in the seamless flipped learning approach only. Whatever we say, flipped learning, all are comes under seamless flipped learning approach. So, what is the educational objectives of the seamless flipped learning? 5 approaches. Already we know to develop the core competence. Core competence is one of the major aspect to be considered all over the world, universe. That is why UNESCO and the European Union also emphasizing more about the curriculum development side to take much concentration on to build the core competence among the curriculum. So what are the core competence? Means these five C's: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, complex problem solving, creativity. These are the 5 key areas to be concentrated in the curriculum. It should be inculcated in the schools or colleges so that that can produce a record manpower. So in order to implement, concentrate and implement all the 5 competence, we have to follow the concept of flipped learning, or that is what we call as a seamless flipped learning. This plays a very significant role. How these 5 core competence are to be achieved by means of implementing such a education learning learning system, that we will discuss in this slide. Here also it says that the principles, already the same principle is applied, the seamless principle. These are almost the same. That is, engaging students in self-learning at home, designing in-field learning activities, designing in-class learning activities. This is the in-field is also to be added here. In-class learning in addition to the in-class activities. Encourage peer-to-peer and peer-to-teacher in all learning process. Then mobile and communication technologies are also applied. In order to implement this kind of learning system, students has to be engaged in the school, home self-learning first. That is a preliminary, basic, as like that flipped classroom. This is self-learning at home. After that, has to come with the school or college. That is the part in the flipped classroom. Yeah. In addition to that, how to design in field learning, whether you go for any environment, any industrial visit, or anywhere in the outside world. Apart from the class, apart from the class hours, any field trip, etc. There they have to learn what are the things they have learned. That has to be how it will be helpful for in their study in the particular area of concentrated. So that also to be inbuilt, and that will become with that idea, with this for photograph or any such of material. They have to come with the class. Then both are discussed in the class. The infield, what are the things learned from the activity, and that is in addition to the things what they have studied of their own at home, and all the things are discussed in front of the faculty, teacher, as well as the other team members, they are going to discuss. After that, they have to come for a clear knowledge. So that is what used in this type of learning. The major aspects to be considered over the seamless flipped learning. That is the notation of seamless learning. What are the areas to be covered under the seamless flipped learning? At home, what is going to do? There are 8 activities, 8 parts to be interconnected with one over the other. That is called at home. What is doing? So using the system or internet, they are going to collect material. That is one. Next one is that knowledge construction tools. The first one is the issue-based learning. Issue-based learning, that is the interaction in class, at home, as well as the interaction using this issue-based learning. Then knowledge construction tools. These are the different devices used to discuss, apply in class to develop the knowledge or to understand the concept fully and to apply what they learned in the school or colleges by using these different tools. Here, competitions or games, problem-based learning, individual project-based learning, collaborative learning, peer assessment using application software or supplementary material for extension courses and discussion and all. These are all the main concept. This is how the interaction between these two mobile devices and wireless communications are followed also to be linked with one over the other. So now we'll discuss what they are going to do at the end each part. That is called the strategies for seamless flipped learning. Different strategies. These 8 strategies are to be followed by issue-based learning. That means what? Take an issue if related to the content of the subject or an unit. For example, a teacher is handling a class called nutrition class. What is the causes of obesity? That we have to discuss. So the teacher has to be ask the students to develop the various aspects or reasons for what are the different ways or how to eliminate the causes for the obesity and all. So for that, they have to go for the outside, they have to collect material, and after that they have to discuss with the surrounding environment, also discuss with friends or collect material from internet or with the other field trip. Everything is collected together with some basic kind of knowledge. They have to attend the class. After that, the part is going to be discussed. So this is an issue that is discussed in the class. In addition to so all the things. So by doing so, the students' knowledge is improved in all aspects. After that, what are the root cause to increase or for obesity? Everything he is able to know. After that, it is called as a this kind of learning is called as a issue-based learning. Then the second approach is called as an application and construction of knowledge construction tools. This is also has to be used for implementing in the seamless flipped learning. For the different sources, there are 7 tools are available. Among this, you can use any one of the tool to develop. Mostly, most of the items are used for the school system. The expert system can be used at the college level. So, in the expert system, what is the cause and effect analysis? It's like that. It is by means of cause and effect, how it is going to be applied. Each and every aspect of the system is to be analyzed. Part of the, for example, if you want to develop a medicine for a particular disease. For that, what are the causes? First, we have to identify what is the root cause to be occurred. Based on the fact, what is the effect it is going to be developed. That kind of system is to be inbuilt. First, you have make a flow diagram. Based on that, you have to collect material in various sources. After that, you develop. Then the third one is using application software or supplementary materials to acquire extensive knowledge on the course content. To acquire extensive knowledge on the course content, you have to go for the supplementary materials or using application software. And apart from that, it is called as additional part. Apart from the regular curriculum, what are the things we need to develop, equip ourselves? For that, you have to go for this kind of materials. So, extensive knowledge is important. That is also possible under this education learning system. Also, it is much beneficial than that of the traditional system, though to enhance much knowledge about the particular area, it is more beneficial. Then the other one is called problem-based learning. Problem-based example, that is a exploration of activities. For example, experimentation-based learning, that is called a problem-based learning. Experiment in science class, the more complex activities are how to be understand, how to be carried out. For that, you have to go for the problem-based learning. Then individual project-based learning. Already we are doing, but it is not effectively concentrating on each aspect. If you do with a full involvement, definitely that will be much beneficial. The same thing what we are doing in the our curriculum project work is also doing here also. Only thing, we have to take each activity the student has to do with the proper involvement. If you do so, definitely it will be improved by the thinking, problem solving, planning, decision making, and after production of that project, everything will be developed. Only thing, we have to take students' involvement and collect the material and what are the steps to be followed, the proper guidance in class, during field, and has to apply in the as per the direction of the peers, the knowledge gained from the peers and the teachers, how to apply, and any problems occurs during the implementation of the project, that also will be rectified by the extensive support rendered by the peers as well as the faculty members. After that, it will make for a successful one. So for that, all kind of supports will be rendered. Then the collaborative project-based learning, knowledge sharing. That is, this is also collaboration. Individual projects, that is, this is a collaborative project. Collaborative project is also plays a very significant role, for a team working and all. So in this aspect, each task of the project is assigned to the particular individuals. So the work is to be done individually. After that, they have to share the knowledge overall. Paired reading, another form of flipped learning. This is also for collecting material or to implementation of the project. Everything, the concept of seamless flipped learning is applied. If you apply, your knowledge will be improved at greater height. Then peer assessment. Teachers need to offer the items and rules for grading and must be displayed. The peer assessment part is also, this is the teacher's role. That is how the assessment is going to be made. That should be transparent. The teacher has to be explored. What kind of rules and regulations are followed for grading and for evaluating the student based on the project or based on the quiz, or all the things to be displayed, so that it will be accordingly the students also can work better. Then peer competitions or gaming. This is another motivating the students. This will help. This is also part of the classroom. Competitive tasks can be conducted in the classroom or field activity. The students watch the instructional video at home. Based on that, you have to conduct the competitions, so that it will make the involvement with student. It will be more attractive among the students to go through the materials in home if you conduct such as competitions, etc. So these are all the important point we discussed about seamless flipped learning. This also help enormously the students to inbuild all sorts of knowledge. Then questions to be asked flipping. If you want to develop a flipped classroom, you have to ask questions by yourself the following. So why you are flipping? The importance of flipping, whether it is necessary, that we have to ask, have in mind. Then what about flipping interests you? What roadblocks might you encounter? Is the extra work worth the benefits? How will technology improve the class? Where will you inspiration come from? Like this kind of questions has to be asked by yourself before implementing the classroom. Whether you have to understand at what level, if you suppose you are going to implement a flipped classroom, whether a flipped learning system, whether it is really beneficial to the student, that will be understood first. First you have to follow. Then students' interest also to be considered, whether the facilities are available to the students. Now everywhere internet is available, no problem. So it is keeping the other aspects also. You have to go for the implementation of the flipped classroom. So these are the major questions to be asked by yourself for before implementing the flipped classroom. The statistics about the flipped classroom. Flipped classroom statistics. So flipped already told. This is recently 2012, the concept of flipped learning has developed and implemented in US 2012. Thereafter, a lot of significant improvement was obtained. A lot of schools and colleges are implementing the flipped learning process in many schools. There was a survey was conducted. This study, it was not done by myself. It is someone's study. Already it was the paper is published in the journal. Based on that, we have got the information. So in this, it says that 96% of teachers recognizing the term flipped learning an increase from 73% 2 years ago. That means this is a previously published paper, 2014. This paper was published. Now I tried to search the recent search, but it was not found in the FLN also, flipped learning network or other data. The current data is not available. But anyhow, it will be a warm welcome among the students and the teachers for implementing such a. This statistic shows that it's a warm welcome among the group, peer group. And also, the number of teachers who have flipped a lesson in their classroom is increased to 78%, so 68% in the 2002 to 78% in 2004. This was also another evidence for implementing the flipped classroom, and it is widely accepted the concept of flipped learning for implementing in schools and colleges located in US and other part of India. Many research articles also published in the recent past. If you refer journals of computer education, International Journal of Computers and Education System and all, many articles are available for having to enrich further knowledge on flipped learning. There some of the statistics also available, and also the design and development of a flipped classroom, and what are the strategies to be followed based on the students, based on the input of the students and the background study of the students, how to make the rooms as flipped. All informations are furnished, and also the flipped learning network team, that is also official website is also available. They are also suggesting implementation of the flipped classroom and flipped learning system, and also they publishing a journal as well as what we call the newsletters also. If you go those items, you can enrich knowledge further. Then another statistics, FLN network of 2002 June was 95% of the respondents taught in middle or high school within 2014, about 80% taught in higher secondary school level statistics. These are all. This is also recommend. Okay. Thank you. So far we discussed about the importance of flipped learning, how it is beneficial than that of the traditional learning system. And also, finally, we discussed about the continuous learning, how to use the learning system and its significance. Then, how best it will help the student to improve the overall performance, overall competence. As per the our new education policy also rightly says that the 5 core competences are important. Based on that aspect, our education's new education policy also framed. Also, already the UNESCO and the European Union and all other body also says that core competence is very important than that of focusing on the mechanist or the what we call the industrialized education. So education means that overall performance, multi-dimensional personality to be improved for a particular person undergoes a particular kind of study. That is the key aspect of education. Then that of focusing in a particular sense. That is why it is called as a overall performance. That is called multifaceted personality can be created by means of focusing multifaceted education by in various dimensions to be inbuilt. So that as in that aspect, the flipped learning system will definitely help a lot to develop the overall personality. What Vivekananda said, told that it is a man-making education is possible only by means of implementing the flipped education system alone. Thank you. Any queries, please?
Thank you, sir. It was really an elaborative and enlightening session, sir. Thank you for spending your time with us and enlightening each and every one of us. Participants, if you have any queries, you can come online. Sir is waiting to answer you. Participants, if you have any queries, please come online.
So good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm Dr. P.K. Chidambaram from New Prince, Bhavani College of Engineering.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Fine, Chidambaram. How are you?
Fine. So it is a wonderful and eye-opening session. And I think the COVID period, people are thinking about all those blended learning and like this flipped classrooms.
Okay.
I think I am age of after 52. I am not in a position to. I have to start right now only thinking about the like this flipped classrooms. I think I definitely listened a lot of information I received from you, sir. I had one simple question. So, what is the difference? What is the difference between flipped classroom and flipped learning? Any difference is there? Any?
Yes. The difference is there, Dr. Chidambaram. The thing is, flipped classroom is we are restricting our teaching system inside and outside the class. We are not concentrating much on the elaborate part. The 4 pillars, what I told you, flexible, all the things are not much implemented in the classroom. If not implement, that is called only the what I am saying is what are the doubts raised by the students only cleared at the flipped classroom. Other part, the creativity, evaluation part are not much inculcated at the flipped classroom. If you want to implement all the taxonomies, definitely we have to go for the flipped learning system. It is a continuous process. Learning is a continuous process.
So it is suitable for only online. It is adapted for offline also.
Offline only. Online classes are not flipped. It is not only. It is a lecture method. It is a Socratic approach. There is no discussion. There is going to take place among the teacher as well as the students, and no pre-content are issued to the student. I hope so. And also not rooms to raise questions over the flipped not flipped learning in the online classes. Online classes are just like what my observation is just like that classroom teaching. Instead of like face-to-face contact in person, closed room, we are conducting online. That is the only difference. Apart from that, it follows the regular traditional approach alone. Only they are using the device because the students are not accessible because of the COVID. So that is the only difference. It is not a flipped learning. Flipped learning is technology role is important, but at the same time, technology available to be used by for the benefit of the student. Using the technology, the student have gained knowledge. The first part of the knowledge, the basic knowledge to be acquired. With that knowledge, they have to come for the class, either online or offline. If they come with that particular kind of knowledge, even for online classes also, then the classes may stay as a flip. Otherwise, it is traditional.
Okay, thank you, sir. Definitely, you are cleared my doubts. I thought online also will do flipped class, but you cleared it, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful explanation to us. That. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, Dr. Chandra.
Thank you, sir. Any other queries, participants? Sir, a small request, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
can you display your mail ID in the chat box, sir, so that participants will make use of it? If they have any queries in the future, they can mail you.
Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Dr. Ramakrishnan sir, good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for not attending your section.
Okay,
yeah, another
no
one.
problem. You are busy now.
Yeah, no, sir. The first year engineering graphics classes there.
Yes. You told yesterday itself, sir. That's
yeah,
okay, sir. It's okay. Okay, sir.